There we go. Couldn't figure out if this was recording or not. Welcome to the weekly or semi-weekly Rockstar Hangout. This is going up on YouTube, the recording as always. So if you're watching the recording, you have no idea what we're talking about, you can check below, check out the link. You'll get plugged into our Facebook group. That's how you get involved with these Hangouts. I've had people recently on my YouTube channel asking how the heck they get in here or ask questions. You have to be inside of our Facebook group because that's where I post a link to get into this thing. So if you're on YouTube watching the recordings every week, you're more than welcome to join us live. So aside from that, I just got a notification my internet connection is unstable. Okay, so if I cut out, I'm sorry. I'm super excited because we are announcing Cameron, who is our newest admin inside of our group. So now we have Tina and Cameron that are helping me out run this thing. We officially passed 1,500 members. I remember in like the first 2 weeks of January, I don't remember how many members we had back then, but I had thought it would be so cool if we can have 1,000 people join the group in 2016. And I think it was Cameron, actually. Were you the one that called me out and said, why not go for more?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, yeah. It was Cameron who called me out. It was like 2,500 or something was the number we came up with. And at this rate, yeah, we're going to pass 2,500. Geez, if we keep going, we're going to hit like 5,000 people. It's going to be nuts. So with a growing group, there comes a lot of personality types. We get some a-holes, we get some spam people. So I need backup to be in there with eyes and reporting posts and all that kind of stuff. And I'll give a quick shout out to I want to say it's Matt. I'm sorry if I butcher your last name. Gilbertson. Matt G is always one of the ones who's most on top of reporting all the spam posts. Thank you for doing that. That helps us out because we can't always keep up with everything that's going on. We're on different time zones, especially I'm on the West Coast. So when I wake up at 6 a.m., most of you know I run a pretty tight schedule for myself, so I don't actually hop on social media. I don't check my phone. I don't check my laptop or anything until I take care of my mindset first. So I don't even look at my computer until, like, for you guys, it would be about 10-ish a.m. So a lot of stuff can go down in those first morning hours, so it helps to have other admins in different time zones to be able to stick in there with it. So aside from that, you guys don't have to listen to me blabber this week. How exciting is that? We are going to pass it over to Cameron. I want to start bringing some different people on speaking each week. So if you watch these things and you have some great value to add, we all run our businesses differently. So the tips and advice I give out is based on my business, which is totally different than what other people do. So if you have tips you want to give out, just reach out to me and say, hey, Chaz, I want to share some stuff on one of the calls. We'll schedule you to be one of our guest speakers. So it doesn't have to be lengthy. It doesn't have to be super in-depth. You don't have to know your stuff down to like the expert level because none of us are experts. We're always learning, always growing. So aside from that, I'm super excited. Cameron has been a huge, huge help inside of our group, always providing value, which is why I reached out to him. I wanted him to step up as an admin, help us out. And he's going to be sharing something that's one of the most important things about this business, and it's condition guidelines. How many times a day do you guys see me comment on something in group files? It's like 5 to 10 times a day. I always comment and say group files. If you do not know, go to our group files. There's a file that says Amazon condition guidelines. Go through that. It's a lot of information, but you need to know it in order to save your butt so you don't get kicked out of Amazon. So Cameron's going to cover that tonight. So it's all yours, brother. Take it away.
Cool. Thanks. First of all, as Chaz just mentioned, I feel that I am not an expert. I'm learning something new every single day. So just like the rest of you, I'm here to learn and help everyone else along the way. So basically something I see asked a lot are condition guidelines. A post, I've just bought a CD at Goodwill. It's still in the plastic wrap, but there's a small tear in the upper corner. Can I still list it as new? Same with books. I sell a ton of books. I would say it's one of the main things I sell. And there's always questionable books. How do I list this book? It's usually hard to tell on a book where it looks brand new, but maybe the dust jacket has a slight tear or crease in it, or the pages are curled, there's remainder marks. If you've ever heard of book sales, like Friends of Library book sales, you show up at the library, usually there's other people there scanning. And a lot of times the books will have little marks on the pages. So basically you can claim that as a remainder mark, but the book needs to basically be listed as used, acceptable or used good. Even though the book may look brand new, unread, if there's a remainder mark or something like that, you definitely cannot list it as new. On top of that, there are people that will list those books as new and put in the description field that this book has a remainder mark. According to Amazon's guidelines, that is not the way you're supposed to handle it. Like Chaz said, everybody runs their business differently. So the way I choose to run mine is when I list something, I am ultra conservative on the guidelines. So if I ever have a question about it, I check out Seller Central and read through the guidelines. And usually, like on a book, I will rank it below. So if I think my book is brand new, I will list it as used like new, just to save myself if it ever comes up. Something I don't think a lot of people realize or think about is, when they ask a question, hey, can I list this board game as new? It's got a slight tear in the, cellophane wrapper. And somebody will say, sure, you can list that as new. I've done it multiple times, no problems. Amazon doesn't care. The thing is, Amazon does care, but Amazon isn't a giant computer. Amazon is thousands and thousands of employees. So it can all depend on who checks in your package. It kind of goes to the same thing would be, at a grocery store, you have a cashier that, sees somebody in the grocery store stealing something. A lot of cashiers will call somebody out. There's people that are going to let it pass. I'm not saying listing something with a wrong condition is, as bad as stealing something from a store, but there's employees that are going to let it pass, and there's employees that are going to flag it and call their supervisor over to look at your shipment to say, hey, this is packaged incorrectly or whatnot. And not necessarily they care about if the package is new or not, because obviously all they're checking is that the items are there. So when you run into an issue, it's going to be on the customer end, and the customer is going to report back to Amazon, hey, this item isn't new, this item is damaged. And if you've ever submitted an Amazon return, you know that Amazon asks the question, what was the box that it was packed in damaged? So basically that's where the blame would go on the shipping provider. So if that box wasn't damaged and yours is damaged, then of course, you're going to get the ding for that. So basically that's how I do it. I never list something as new unless it is brand new, just so I don't take the hit. I sold on eBay for years and years, and it's a totally different marketplace when you come to Amazon. Amazon takes the customer complaints very seriously. And I do feel that I have better reviews on Amazon because I list things as used good, used very good, when an item, is above that quality. And that's what seems to, strike people to, hey, I'm going to leave feedback on this because this product was, better than I expected. So to add on that, I don't know if anybody has any questions. Short and simple, really, but that's how I run mine. I grade everything below what it actually is.
All right, I just went through and muted a few people. I'm not the only one to get that feedback, right?
I'm good now.
I was just looking over. I'm going to grab, I think I have a variety of different items on my shelf.
Mm-hmm.
Well, you guys can see I got all kinds of crazy stuff in here.
Awesome.
I want to show you guys real quick. This is half of my garage right now, and then this is my other half, which is gym. So
nice.
My wife and I joke we have gotten to be kind of professionals at multitasking our rooms, because I have my massage office is / nursery / multi-purpose room. I was just looking over, so I'm going to grab a few different things and kind of show real life examples.
Yeah, exactly. So real quick to answer that question on how I would handle it. So if it's going to expire soon, I would either, it depends on, if you're taking a hit on it or not. But what I would do in that situation is I would create a eBay listing for the ink or toner that's actually toner expired, but if it's ink that's expiring, I would, okay, it's in FBA now. So what I would do is create a eBay listing for that ink cartridge.
Shield something.
And basically what you need to do.
I have factory sealed stuff around here, but I don't.
Okay,
so
I'm answering the question about that cartridge.
Oh, are you? Yeah, go for it.
You can't hear me.
I have my headphones in.
Okay, so basically I would create that eBay listing and then watch for when it sells. Be sure to, on the handling time, put a couple days and then list it for what you think you can get it for on eBay. Lower the price on Amazon as well. And then as soon as it sells on eBay, you can actually go into your FBA inventory and select it and choose to what's it called? Let me look at the name for it exactly. So
multi-channel. Not the one?
Yeah, multi-channel fulfillment. That's it. So you'll select the item and you will create a fulfillment order. And in that fulfillment order, you will look at your eBay purchase and you'll put in the buyer's name and the buyer's address and then choose the shipping speed, hit done, and then that's all there is to it. Amazon pulls the item out of your FBA inventory. It'll go into a pending stage, and then Amazon will ship that item to your eBay customer for you. So something I always do is as soon as that happens and I mark it shipped on, I actually don't wait to mark it shipped on eBay until Amazon has actually shipped the package and provided me with the tracking number. So that way I can immediately enter that. And then I will also go ahead and message my eBay buyer and say, hey, just to let you know, your package is on the way. FYI, I do use Amazon to fulfill my products, so your product may arrive in an Amazon box. Just to give them a heads up. Not that many people care about that, but I've seen before people question it. They'll think you've drop shipped something from another seller, but actually you're not. It's coming out of your own inventory. Sure. I would do it now. I would go ahead and list it on eBay and just make sure you watch FBA as well. You don't want it to sell through Amazon and then somebody buys it on eBay. You want to get the listing down immediately if it does sell. And there's actually a product called, let me see what it's called. Joe Lister. I'm not sure if you've ever heard of it. It's a paid service, and it's an Amazon to eBay listing service. So it will actually take all your Amazon products and list them on eBay for you as well. If one sells, it removes it for you, creates the fulfillment order for you, and handles all that. It's not something I use because it's just a paid service. I don't use them until I need them. It just doesn't outweigh, I'm not sure exactly what it costs, but I don't do enough fulfillment orders to look into it yet. But yeah, that's joelister.com.
There you go. Nice. I totally agree with you on that one. I think a lot of people make the mistake of jumping into like this whole business and then trying to question like, what are all the things I need to pay for? What are all the best subscriptions and tools and blah? It's like, you don't need any of that until it reaches a point of it's going to be worth the time or the money that you save with it. You really don't need much. I mean, I still use just my my regular sellers app. And I know a lot of you guys do too.
Yeah, I see a lot of people post, their first post is, hey, I'm ready to get started. What scanner do I need to buy? What, this do I need to buy? What's it's like, I feel get out there, you scan with your Amazon seller app, get a shipment created, and then you're at the point where you know which questions to ask exactly, and you know what will benefit you and what won't.
Exactly. And then I'm always the one that comes in with those questions and says group files. 99% of everything you need to know is under the group files.
Exactly.
So many people, not everybody knows that. So I wanted to share real quick. I just pulled a few things off my shelf. What would be different conditions? So I wish I had I just got a shipment in today of online stuff and I have no idea where they're at. That's cool. So here's an example of used like new. Looks brand spanking new, right? Why am I not listing this as new? Because it is open box. A factory seal has been broken on it. If you have a brand new, pristine condition box, which this thing is perfect, if this had the factory seal, had not been touched, it's just like you bought it off the store shelf, that is new. even if I put a piece of tape on here and make it look factory sealed, I'm not willing to risk that. There's a lot of people who do, but I'm not the one that's going to get suspended. So if it's open box, do not list it as new. I cannot repeat that enough. It's stuff I've done it before, especially my first month. I bought a shit ton of stuff off of Goodwill was my huge sourcing. I have like a honey hole Goodwill in my town here. And I used to get a ton of stuff that would be just like this. Like, oh, cool, it's new in the box. Let me just tape it and send it in as new. And I was lucky I didn't get dinged for any of those, but the more I learned, the more I practice and research, the more I realize that is not okay by Amazon standards. So again, I cannot tell you enough. Go into the group files, look up the Amazon condition guidelines. So this will be used like new. And again, if you look at the guidelines, you'll see used like new is it can have an open box. And this is where I would just put a little piece of tape right here. You can actually go onto Amazon. I just ordered some today. Go onto Amazon. You can actually get like factory seal looking tape. So it looks a little bit more professional than just shipping tape put over that. So that's my little tip for you today if you want to check that out. So there's no dings. The box is in good pristine condition. So that would be used like new. Now we get into, this is the kind of stuff you'll get in pallets. Looks okay on one side, but then you start to look at this thing and it's a little on the beat up side. It's got holes on it. You cannot list this as new or even like new. Even though the product inside is still in the wrapping, it does not matter. The box, unfortunately, the box is going to give you what your main condition will be. So
yeah, a new box is pristine condition only.
Oh yeah, it has to be flawless, like you bought it out of the store. So if the box
I'll pass up on a lot of stuff at Walmart actually, just because of shelfware.
Yeah, exactly. Even the little corners, I know, again, this was used like new. If this had little tiny like wear on the corners from that shelf wear, I couldn't do it. So you have new, used like new, and then this, for example, would be used very good, which means it has some box damage, and you can just put that in the notes. So, for example, when I list this kind of stuff, I haven't confirmed it. I don't know how true it is, but Amazon supposedly does not like when you use the word new if you're using like used very good. I've just heard that through a couple different threads. I don't know if it's verified, but when I go to list something like this where the product itself is still in the wrapping on the inside, I would list it unused. Packaging, or I would put unused, the product is still in the original packaging, the box has some damage, and I just leave it at that, and I have had no issues with that. So that's just what I do. It's not word for word, but you guys can use that as a base if you want to, but just make sure you put a condition note, let the buyer know the item is still in the packaging, unused, it's just the box that has the wear. And then one step down, this guy, you guys want to hear one of my biggest failures I made? I actually pulled out recently. I pulled out probably 30 different products out of my own inventory to have them shipped back to me, because after I learned more and more about this and through trial and error, which you guys know, that's how I've learned my entire thing. I took a class on what FBA is. I didn't learn the basics about condition notes and sourcing and all that stuff. I just learned what the heck it was. So it came down to my own trial and error to figure this stuff out. So one of my biggest failures I'll share with you is I sent in a lot of stuff like this. This was one of the items I pulled. And for those of you that are seasoned, you know exactly what's wrong with sending this in, don't you? There's no freaking cord to it. There's no charger. Do not send stuff in that is not complete. And if you read the condition guidelines, and I am guilty of not reading them in the very first week that I signed up. So in the first week, I'm in Goodwill looking at this stuff going, oh, I just found a gold mine, sending it in. And I had a few people that returned it because it didn't have a charger. And I thought in my mind, well, it's $5, go buy one, right? We can't get mad at those guys. It's our own fault. So that's one of the failures that I made, was sending in junk that wasn't in working condition. Anything you send in has to be in complete working order. So I pulled everything that was questionable out of my own inventory because I do not even want to risk my account based on a few cell phones and camcorders and that kind of stuff. So this, for example, would, if I had the charger, because it does have a bunch of wear, on the edges and that kind of stuff. This is where you'd be used, and obviously it's an electronic, so you can put this used, acceptable, or used good. And again, look under your condition notes to see what the two different ones are. So that's how you kind of differentiate which listing you're going to go under. So hopefully that helps clear up a few things. And if anyone has any questions, just feel free to drop it in the chat there, and we're more than happy to answer based on our own experience. And Cameron, I don't know if you have anything to add to what I just talked about.
No, I mean, that basically sums it up. And like you stated, this is our personal opinions. So some people think it's fine, and it all depends on in the end, who receives your package. Just like I said, for prepping, if I miss a suffocation warning on a sticker, it all depends on which employee checks that in. Do they care or do they not? So, does a customer care if the package has a tear in it or do they not? If they do, they're reporting it to Amazon, and Amazon's going to say, was this listed as new? It looks like it was, so that's when your account metrics can get dinged. So I avoid it altogether as much as possible. As far as buying pallets, I can say hardly anything gets listed as new. But, what people may not realize is the used like new, the used good, and used very good still move extremely fast, and would surprise you on Amazon how fast that stuff moves. People are looking to save $1.
That's true. Totally true. One thing I'll add to that too, thanks for bringing that up, is don't feel that in your head, if you again, I'll pull this up. This is perfect condition, right? In my head, I used to think this in the first couple of weeks, I really want to list it new because I can get $5 more out of it based on the other people's pricings. Just because you have to list something not new doesn't mean you have to drop your pricing a ton. I can drop this just by $1, and in my condition notes, let them know it is still brand new in the packaging.
Exactly.
It's just open box policy or whatever they call it.
Somebody like me is going to come along and buy it to save $1.
It's true. It's true. So don't feel that just because you have to list something in a used condition, all your buyers are going to be like, oh, that's used. I don't want to buy that crap. Where's the new stuff? Just like you said, we've all of us who have sold for a while, we've sold a crap ton of stuff. We probably sell more used stuff than we do new, especially because we've bought pallets. Cameron and I and Tina we're the three admins, right? We're like the pallet hunters. We've sold a ton of used stuff. And I can tell you, especially during Q4, because that's when I bought my first bulk pallet. That was the video I made where 99% of you came from. It's because you all watched my video and went, ooh, I want to join the group. So when I had got that first pallet, there was a bunch of stuff in beat up shape, and I had to list it used and collectible. Some of it was like new. I had a few factory sealed, pristine condition things, but like Cameron said, those are going to be far and few between. Do not ever expect to get a pallet of pristine stuff. It just doesn't happen. So I had to list a lot of used stuff, sold in 3 days. That bulk pallet, I never did an update video. I need to do it at some point, but that bulk pallet I got sold in 3 days. I turned, I think it was $600 pallet, $500 pallet. No, it was $500 pallet because each item was $5. I made $2,000 on that one pallet. Obviously, it was Q4, so you can't think that's ever going to happen in regular season right now. It just won't. But that's an example of people buy used stuff all the time. So don't ever be afraid to list something as used and think that no one's going to buy it. Looks like we have a few in here. Caesar says, what's up, Chaz? Caesar is a kick-ass wholesaler. So go check him out. He's inside of the group. He can hook you up with some pretty awesome stuff. I got some jawbones from him. And actually, I forgot to tell you, Caesar, all 4 of those sold. I brought 4. Caesar's an example of a really, really great guy that runs his business the way it should be run. Right? You have a lot of pallet sources, a lot of individual wholesalers that can be shady and be like, oh, yeah, I have new stuff. And they'll send you it, and it's just beat up. Caesar's not that way. So he sent me 4, well, not for free. I bought them. He sent over 4 of these jawbone bracelets, little activity trackers. Awesome shape. Got to list them used, like new for a couple of them, and then used very good for the others. They sold within a week. And same thing, I bought a toaster from him, and that thing sold within, not toaster, was it coffee maker or something like that? So I ended up, selling that within last 2 weeks. I just sold a few days ago. So shout out to Caesar. Check him out if you need some help with that stuff. The shoe box is behind me. The second box has a dent in it. So would that also be used like new? Let's see here. 1, 2. This one. So this is my first load of shoes. You guys probably saw the picture I posted yesterday. I got a load of 78 shoes. And I have a source that I'm talking to that she does like $45,000 a month just in clothing and shoes. I've never done shoes, so I was messaging her and asking her questions. She said that Amazon is a lot more lenient on the shoe and clothing category as far as returns and the condition for box condition. So I'm looking at like these. These are perfect condition. So she said, don't worry about it too much. Obviously, I'm going to do what Cameron does. I'm going to play it on the safe side for that. And yeah, so again, some of these aren't going on Amazon. I'm actually eBaying and localing a lot of these, and I've actually sold quite a few just locally. Art says, I have a trail camera of a different model than what is on Amazon. Can I just add an extra photo to show the actual item along with a note? Cameron, you want to take that one?
Sure. Art, I'm not sure how you're searching for the camera on Amazon, but the best way to search for it is going to be by the UPC code. If you search by that UPC and it's coming up with a different model, then obviously the listing is incorrect. So what you contact seller central support in somewhere on that.
Can you hear me okay?
Yep.
My computer's had a major tweak out. I didn't hear anything you said, but I'm sure everything got answered. Darnice says, my girlfriend works for Bulk. Nice. Is she the customer service rep I've been talking to on chat? I haven't made it official yet, but Bulk has reached out to me. I guess they're talking with insiderretail.com, which I haven't looked them up, but I guess they're a pretty large internet retail website. But they're going to be doing some type of interview with me. So a little scary, but we'll see how it goes. Yeah, it looks like Steven asked, based on that question you just answered, could be redesigned with the same UPC.
I mean, it shouldn't be under the same UPC, but I mean, anything can happen on Amazon. Any seller can create a new listing or tag anything onto an old listing. So the best thing to do is find which product it's actually for and contact Amazon to make sure that it can get fixed for you. And something like that, if it's looking like it's going to be a bunch of trouble for me with a new listing and I've only got one item, more than likely I am sending it to eBay. Not sending it to eBay, but selling it on eBay. And posting pics of the used items. I found that, especially with books, I use 90% of the time I'll post a picture of my book. And honestly, if you look at used book listings on Amazon, there'll be 30 books and 2 of them will have pictures. I feel like the pictures help a lot with your item movement. If somebody's looking at the used items and there's a picture for them to see, I do feel that it moves faster. Maybe it doesn't, but I do like to post used pictures of used items. Exactly.
Perfect. Question is if there is shelfware, where'd it go? There it is. Would you list an item with shelfware as new or use like new? I don't know if you caught the beginning part of the call, but we just covered that. So I'm reading directly from the user condition guidelines. Look inside the group files, you'll find that. Used like new is an apparently untouched item in perfect condition. Original protective wrapping may be missing, but the original packaging is intact and pristine. Absolutely no signs of wear on the item. So there's your answer right there. So if you have any type of box damage, wear, whatever it is, you have to go used. Very good. And that's going to be your best option. for those. If you have any type of box damage or wear, do not ever list it as new or like new based on our beliefs and our thoughts. Everyone has different ways that they do it. Some people do it and get away with it. That's fine. We don't want to risk it. What do you do with any products that are not allowed on FBA? Hazmat, beauty products, can you merchant fill? I believe, I haven't done it. Correct me if I'm wrong, Cameron. I believe you can merchant fill hazmat.
Yes.
Okay.
Yep. You cannot, of course, you can't merchant fulfill a category you're restricted in or gated in, or a restricted brand, but you can merchant fulfill anything that's hazmat.
Perfect. Nailed that one. And this is, that was from Rocky, and always have backup plans, guys. When I first started my YouTube channel and when I first started this group, the group name is still FBA Rockstars. And I want to change it actually to e-commerce Rockstars because I've learned that some people do 100% Amazon FBA and nothing else. But at least for most of us, we always have to have the backup plans for those cases because if you're restricted, DVDs is pretty much impossible to get into. Health and beauty, and what am I thinking of? I'm working on getting I'm gated in one of them. I can't even remember.
Grocery?
No, not grocery. No. Oh, it's health and personal care and beauty. I always just say health and beauty like it's one, it's two. So yeah, always have a backup plan. eBay is obviously a big one. Learn eBay. I'm absolute newbie in eBay right now. I only have 50 listings up and like 15 reviews. So I'm excited to build my little eBay store. And then local is a huge market, guys, especially if you get bigger stuff. Like my last bulk pallet, the printers I got were they're still brand new and perfect condition. Except for they were like twice as big as I thought they were going to be. And I'm going to break even if I send them FBA or eBay. So I'm actually localing them and making some profit. So that's an example of always have backup markets, guys. You don't have to stick with just one. In my mind in the beginning, I thought, I'm going to do 100% FBA. But then I ran into those instances where I had a bunch of junk I couldn't sell on FBA, so I had to go eBay. I created a local page for myself, and it's been working out great. I know it's what a lot of us do.
Yeah. I treat under hazmat review as it is hazmat. If Amazon's going to allow me to send it in as FBA, at any moment they can say this is hazmat. You need to recall your item or have it destroyed. So I really don't bother with it. If it's looking like I can make some, profit on it, what I'm going to do is merchant fulfill it.
Perfect. Art asked, have you been able to get rid of most of your merchandise on FBA, the ones from the pallet? I'll have to ask which pallet because I've done a few, quite a few. I've done like 4 from bulk, 1 from 888 lots, and I've done a couple from some other ones. If you're talking about the big load I got from American Pallet Liquidators, APL, I got 11 pallets from those guys. I'm still sitting on some of it just because it was customer returns. It was way more work than I ever expected. I'm never doing that again. Abraham asked, what is my eBay name? I do not give out store names, which I doubt most people do. My bulk. Yes, I have sold pretty much all of my bulk stuff I've ever sent into FBA. It's gone. I think I have like probably 10 stragglers hanging around. Like got these classic Barbie dolls and stuff that just haven't sold because they're holiday editions. But yeah, I've sold most of it on FBA. Do you guys use Keep It to Do online arbitrage? If so, is it a good source? I'm reading Online Arbitrage by Chris Green and he uses it. I just want to hear from the live group because I haven't heard anyone mention it. I have, oh, gotcha. I thought you was thinking about this program. Keepa, yeah, Keepa and camelcamelcamel.com. Great tools to use for any type of, if you're doing retail arbitrage or if you're doing online arbitrage, just because it shows you the history. A lot of people will, we have a lot of people that screenshot their finds. Like, oh yeah, I'm good. I'm in Goodwill right now. Look at this great thing I found. And at the time, it's easy to get caught up in the big number, right? Because if you find a $5 item that you pull up and it's like, ooh, I can make $1,000 on this. You have to look at the history because there's going to be something that's not right there. If it's too good to be true, it probably isn't. I'm sorry. So look at the history. Keepa is an awesome one. Same
Yeah.
with camel. I'll give you guys a tip. Do I have my phone on me? Yes, I do. Just pulled my headphone out. So I'll show you guys what I do. I created a folder on my phone titled e-commerce. So any type of e-commerce thing, like I have my personal Amazon account is on there, my Amazon seller app is on there, my PayPal, OfferUp, Groupon. So on there, if you guys don't know how to create this, I'll show you right now. So if you go to your Safari, I don't know how to do it for Droid, sorry. If you're on iPhone, just open up your Safari, type in camel.com or keepa.com. And then from there, you can add bookmark and it will create a little, like a little app, right? So when you click on it, it takes you directly to that website. And so in here, I have camel. So I could just tap on that and then boom, it pops up right there. So if I'm out doing RA or OA, then yeah, you bet your butt I'm checking history. I know Cameron's right there with me.
Oh yeah, definitely. I would say, first of all, that's a great book by Chris Green. A lot of good information in there. And Keepa is probably my favorite tool to use for research. Actually, a lot of times I'm using my laptop or desktop, and I use Google Chrome. And Chrome actually has an extension you can download, and it's a Keepa extension provided by Keepa. So what you'll do is you'll install it, and then when you pull up the Amazon, on the buyer side of Amazon page, it pulls up the Keepa chart right there. So immediately I can see what it's been selling for, what third parties are selling it for, if Amazon's in stock on it, what they've been selling it for, and you can also see how often Amazon goes out of stock on an item. So a lot of times, especially around Q4, you'll scan some stuff and say, oh, this is a great rank, and you'll look back at the history and say, okay, well, it's not that great of a rank, in March, but once it gets towards December, it's definitely a great rank. Amazon's running out of stock. So you can really help determine whether you should, go deep on a product. So yeah, I definitely feel that's a great tool.
Awesome. Looks like Steven, I just saw you have a little hand raised up thing. I don't know if you want to post your question on chat or if you want to unmute yourself, if you still have a question or not. Looks like he's hunting for the unmute button. This is why I don't do Zoom on my phone, because I can't figure out how to use half of them. Oh, gotcha. No worries. All right, cool. Rock says we got 22 people in the house. Awesome. I remember our first chat, we had like 5 people or something like that.
Yeah.
And then the group kind of blew up and holy crap. So cool. Well, I appreciate Cameron hopping on here, taking time out of his night. And for those of you watching this, whether you're watching the recording or if you're watching live, you guys took time out of your day or your night to hop on here for us. And we appreciate it. So unless you have any more questions you want to drop in the chat real quick, pretty much going to call it a night. I used to do like hour-long sessions, and now we're trying to keep it like 30, 40 minutes, give you guys some value. If you guys have any little tickling to hop on here and share some tips of your own, because we all have different tips, all types of different value you can add, you're more than welcome. Like I always say, we are a team, we're a community. I don't ever want you guys to look at me and think like, oh, Chaz is like the leader. I know, we're a community, right? We're all on the same playing field. I'm in here learning and doing just like you guys are. So if you guys want to share tips with each other, just message me. I can get you guys set up on a list, and then we can have different people come up here each week and just share some knowledge.
Yeah, I definitely feel like if you've been doing this for a week, you can share something that will help someone that's been doing it for a day.
Yep. I feel like, like I just shared, I feel like we can learn more from each other's failures than anything.
Yep.
If you have a big list of all your successes, you're going to learn more from your few failures. Me of all people, I've learned that way. That's for sure. All right. Well, thank you guys. We appreciate you being on here for the Rockstars Hangout. Hopefully we can hop back on here next Tuesday. And again, if you're watching on YouTube and you want to hop in here with us, go to the link below, get plugged into our group. One of our admins or myself will plug you in, and then just watch the pin post on Tuesday morning, and you'll see it go up there. So aside from that, you guys have a kick-ass night. I'll see you later. This has been Chaz. Peace out.